when I speak of yoga, I don't just mean like
Asana.
on your mat, doing hatha yoga, vinyasa, and just creating these bendy shapes with your body.
No.
And because it was a collaborative sort of effect in terms of it was not just on the mat, but being able to experience yoga outside of the mat too. So I approach it completely different. I started doing a lot of chanting. I started doing a lot of meditation. I started seeing a therapist. So I was expanding my understanding and my knowledge. I started reading a lot of books, spiritual and otherwise, which is all part of yoga. Healing in itself is yoga. What we're doing right now, speaking, just exchanging and connecting, that is yoga. Self-care, just self-love, just living your real, authentic, speaking your truth, it's all yoga. So when I say that yoga transform me, I don't really just means, poses on a mat, but just with this holistic approach that I adopted. I feel like it chose me as opposed to me choosing it. I think the suffering was so deep that I probably was left with no choice but it woke up something in me that I knew would never die. But I needed to experience that complete death. Let me tell you, I was dead inside. It felt like complete death. But I think I needed to experience that death to really kind of sort of reboot and reprogram and really
reset.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Aruna. I hope that this platform inspires you to explore and expand parts of yourself so that you can really tap into your highest potential. Here we dive deep into the stories of our guests to inspire and uplift through simple conversation. If you're interested in living more mindfully and more consciously, then be sure to check it out. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Soul Beauty. I'm your host, Aruna Maharaj, and today we have a very, very special guest. Her name is Veera Bhajan. She's an attorney and she's also a yoga instructor. But she's not just any attorney and any yoga instructor. She was also born without her hands and her arms. And today we welcome her to share her story. Welcome, Veera.
Thank you
Soul
very
Beauty.
much.
And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so yesterday I came to your yoga class for the first time.
You did.
And honestly, I was thinking, how is she going to teach yoga without her hands? And when I came to the class, it was totally normal. It was a totally perfect and holistic experience.
Yeah.
The instructions were clear. It was a great experience. So tell me about, I don't want to start with yoga. I want to start with you and, your story and how you, your education, your family life, your education, and then how you stumbled into studying law and stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about your story.
Okay, so, well, as you said before, I was born without arms. Just growing up, I guess, as a toddler, I sort of adopted the ability to use my feet in place of my arms. So I have an older sister, so of course I would look on at her in terms of beginning to draw and color and write and stuff. So I started just very naturally, I guess intuitively, using my feet in place of my arms, which I guess demonstrates the ability that our body has to adapt to any environment that it might be placed in. We I guess we're conditioned to believe that we have to use our arms, we have to use our hands to write. But I mean, if you're placed in a position, I'm pretty certain that you would be able to use your feet as well, right? Mm-hmm. So I just started very naturally using my feet in place of my arms. Of course, this is not something that my parents would have even imagined at the point in time that I was born. So at that point, what would have been operating in their mind was just a sense of confusion and, of course, a sense of despair and hopelessness because they're now faced with a not just a situation, but a life that
a child.
a child that was born without arms, and it's just at a point where they would not have imagined that I would be able to adapt the way that I did.
Yeah,
right?
so resilient and so.
I don't know if at that point it would be resilience. I mean, I would have only been like 3-4 years. I just kind of
just doing it.
I think it was something more of a natural ability that just came in place of my arms.
Yeah.
So I just started using my feet, and my parents got me enrolled into a school for differently abled kids, Princess Elizabeth Center, and that's why I really started really adopting the practice of using my feet. I started writing and drawing and coloring, and I would start like feeding myself and just doing natural daily activities, brushing my teeth, that type of thing. Yeah, just
right. So you were able to perform day-to-day tasks on your own, and not just day-to-day tasks, but also educational tasks as well, to be able to read, write, study, and get educated. Do you think having arms affects your ability to learn?
No, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. I think from my personal experience, I think not having arms was probably like a driving force for me in terms of like a
if
motivation.
Anything, it motivated you more.
So it appears on the outside to be a disadvantage, but to me it was like it kind of, I guess I was mostly self-motivated together with the support of my family, my parents, but it was like a driving force to really push me, to propel me to succeed and to become more than someone without arms.
So where you studied law?
At UWI, at St. Augustine 1 year, and then at Cave Hill, Barbados for 2 years.
Right.
And then
how was your experience going abroad? Was that Barbados? Was your first time going abroad, or you had gone?
Yeah, I think.
So that was your first time? Right. How was your experience in Barbados?
It was lovely. It was amazing. The change of environment, the people, the whole experience was wow. It was truly amazing. Those 2 years were.
Yeah.
I had like a blast. Yeah.
Was there any special allowances made just for you that no other student would have gotten?
No, not
so
that
everything. So when you had exams, for instance, you went at the same time everybody else had their exams.
Yeah, I sat with everyone.
You sat with everyone.
Of course, I had like a special desk because I have to use my feet. So
right. So you had a special desk.
I have to be able to reach the desk with my feet, but. Other than that, I think I just operated just like a
totally normal,
regular, regular student would.
So you did that, and now you came back to Trinidad, and you're an attorney.
Yes, but I would have studied 2 years at Heward Law School.
And then you would have, right. So now you're an attorney, you're back in Trinidad.
Yeah.
And you started to work as normal. Where did you work?
Yes, I started working at the Police Complaints Authority for 6 years. I was employed there for 6 years.
Okay.
And then I transitioned into private practice.
Okay, and that's what you currently do now?
No, I'm currently employed as a lay assessor at the Equal Opportunity Tribunal. Yeah, so I left private practice and...
A lay assessor?
Yes.
What is a lay assessor? Forgive me.
Oh, so a lay assessor at the Equal Opportunity Tribunal, there's a panel comprising of a judge and 2 lay assessors. The matters before the tribunal basically deal with discriminatory matters. And the lay assessor is basically someone who sits in the panel with the judge and assists the judge in making decisions on matters.
So what would be your dream job?
I have not actually considered that, but I think it would be any particular job where I'm able to perform the job using and utilizing the joy and the love and the sincerity within myself. So it could really be any job.
Yeah, as long as it's meaningful.
Yeah, as long as it's driven by that source within me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it could be teaching yoga, it could be being an attorney, it could be anything.
Anything. It doesn't matter how it manifests, as long as you get that feeling of joy and contentment and actually contributing and doing something meaningful with your time and your life.
Correct.
That is exactly how I feel right now.
Good.
I just really want to touch people's lives more. I want to do something more meaningful.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's how I felt for a number of years. Even like as an attorney, I felt, when you're just sort of seeking something, but you're not sure what it might be, but you know it's something more than what you're actually experiencing. So I always kind of like out here trying to figure out what this might be to feel fulfilled. What is this meaning that I'm trying to experience, or this purpose that I'm trying to have? And we tend to look on the outside. Or I started traveling. I given a lot of charity. I started a foundation. I did my masters. So I started just kind of looking on the outside to see where I'm really going to find this purpose. I feel like the more things I start to do, the less purpose.
The less
it's
like the more you try to find it, is the further away you got.
It's like it evades you.
Yeah.
So I think I was in that place for like a number of years.
Yeah. I think that's something a lot of us go through. A lot of us just keep trying to find our little space, or trying to find what makes us fulfill that feeling or that desire to have purpose, or to bring some sort of joy into our hearts. That's what we crave. We're human. It's a human experience. And we look to that for fulfillment. And only after searching and searching and going and bumping your head several times, you realize, oh, what I've been searching for was not anywhere outside. It's on the inside. We are so pleased to announce that this episode is now available on Digicel's apps, Go Loud and Playgo. Download now. So tell me a little bit now about your relationship with yoga, and how long after you've just been in the adult world, in the working world, how your curiosity went from just a curiosity to having a curiosity to be a teacher, because it's one thing to practice yoga, but it's another thing to teach yoga. In fact, I've been practicing for quite some time, and I've been dabbling and thinking about teaching for some time, but I know it isn't the right time yet, but it's definitely something that I may want to do in the future. So I love to hear people's stories, especially teachers, and how they were naturally and organically brought to a place where, because honestly, you are so good at teaching. You guys need to come to one of her classes. It's located in Chaguanas. This is a plug right now. Because the way she's speaking now is completely different. It's nice, and it's so natural. Like Veera would say, and now.
Could you not do that?
Inhale and exhale. But it's a singing, and it's so natural. It's not put on. So don't feel shy about it. It's not put on. It's so, and then with the little background music, and then just the postures and the voice and the inhales and the exhales and just the energy in that space. Oh, it was nice.
Aww.
Really nice. So
enjoyed.
I highly recommend anybody to try one of your classes, and don't think for a second that it's going to be different just because the instructor doesn't have her arms at all. If anything, it was better than a few classes that I've been to in the past. But maybe we could edit. Yeah, so honestly, it was really good. So tell me about that. Tell me about your relationship with yoga. This is the most exciting part of the interview that I'm most excited about.
Okay, so I started practicing yoga a long time ago, probably as a teenager. My practice, I would say, it was mostly a physical practice, in that my intention was really to maintain my flexibility, my mobility, my strength, because of course I have to use my legs to be able to stretch these legs, to comb my hair and brush my teeth, and so,
and put on your makeup.
Yeah.
Guys.
Oh my God.
Veera put on her own makeup today, and I couldn't believe it, because I'm a makeup person, so it looks so good.
Well, I mean, it's no makeup by Madam Maharaj, but it's something.
No, oh, and I wanted to tell you that anytime you have somewhere big to go to, come and I'll do your makeup one day for you.
Okay,
right? Yeah. Or I'll come home and you and do it. We'll figure it out. Okay, back to the interview. Right.
Yeah, so my practice was really just a physical.
So it started off as a physical practice.
Very physical in that I would focus a lot on body awareness, just doing a lot of poses for flexibility, mobility, strength, that type of thing. It was not a very consistent practice in that it's not that.
So you went to another class?
Yeah, I used to go to classes. I used to do my own practice at home.
Right, on like YouTube or...
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good,
my own
gotcha.
thing. So that's just something I adopted over the years. Sometimes I may not do it for a few months and then I'll just get back on, that type of thing. But it's always something that I enjoy doing, that I love doing. And then in 2019, I found myself in a place that I would describe as a deep suffering.
Like a dark period.
Extremely dark. Yeah, I think for a number of reasons, specific situations, or just over the years I explained before, like I was just naturally seeking some sort of purpose, some sort of meaning. So I guess it's sort of spiraled, and I just got into a place that I probably never anticipated that I would have, where I was completely filled in darkness. Why do you look so sad? Stop it!
I want to hear more. I'm intrigued.
Oh my god!
Right, go.
So I and I think I was just in that place for a while, a long time, for probably for a few months, and it just keep like I felt progressively worse over time, and I really got to the point where I decided that I would like just step on my mat and see how I feel, just kind of take it one day at a time, sort of thing, right? So, for some reason during that period, my practice or the way that I approached my practice sort of changed, in that as I step on my mat, I sort of lay and bare myself completely. Just like laying on my pain, my trauma, my hurt. Could you not look so sad?
No, because I understand. Because see, I'm getting it. Like as you saying it, because I go through. I mean, I bring my trauma to my mat as well.
Yeah.
So and I bring my vulnerability to my mat.
Yeah.
I bring my weakness to my mat.
Correct,
so I get it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think that's what I started. It became more of a spiritual practice, so to speak, where I just felt like my mirror almost, it was like my mat was almost like a spiritual mirror, just like reflecting back at me all these dark parts of me, my weaknesses, my pains, my vulnerability, my trauma. It's very similar to what you speak of. I think because of that dark period, I somehow felt I was so alienated from my soul. I started just creating a bit of awareness in terms of how identified I was with my thoughts and my mind and my emotions, and it's almost like I believed that was who I was. And that's when we speak of like ego consciousness, and we have this concept of who we are and the role that we play in society and how we live. And I think just stepping on my mat and just having that time for myself, and I started practicing consistently every day. My view of yoga, my feel for yoga, my love for yoga, it's just completely transformed. And that's how I started practicing consistently. I joined a class, and I would go to classes like 3 to 4 times per week, and then I started practicing on my own as well, at home. What that did was it created I think it created a shift in my perspective, in my aura, in my spirit, in my consciousness, in my whole being. Like there was a change that I can't really describe to you in complete words. Yeah, but it definitely had some sort of transformative effect on my existence. Yeah.
On your existence.
Yeah. So I was really able to.
So at this point in 2019, your yoga practice went from something that was just about the physical, and it suddenly became something much more mental, emotional, spiritual. And
Definitely.
it was like a flip switch. This switch flipped, and it's like yoga is so much more to me now.
Yeah, and it was not just the physical practice because, like, when I speak of yoga, I don't just mean like on
Asana.
your mat, doing hatha yoga, vinyasa,
Yeah.
just creating these bendy shapes with your body.
No.
And I mean, it was a collaborative sort of effect in terms of it was not just on the mat, but being able to experience yoga outside of the mat too. So I approach it completely different. I started doing a lot of chanting. I started doing a lot of meditation. I started seeing a therapist, so I was expanding my understanding and my knowledge. I started reading a lot of books, spiritual and otherwise, which is all part of yoga. Healing in itself is yoga. What we're doing right now, speaking, just exchanging and connecting, that is yoga. Self-care, just self-love, just living your real, authentic, speaking your truth, it's all yoga. So when I say that yoga transformed me, I don't really just means, poses on a mat, but just with this holistic approach that I adopted. I feel like it chose me as opposed to me choosing it. Like, I think the suffering was so deep that I probably was left with no choice but it woke up something in me that I knew would never die. But I needed to experience that complete death. Let me tell you, I was dead inside. It felt like complete death. But I think I needed to experience that death to really kind of sort of reboot and reprogram and really
reset.
I needed the complete chaos to just really.
Well, I do think a lot of us have gone through, like, this pandemic has really connected us in that sense, because a lot of people have been shaken up, and a lot of people have gone through some dark periods during the last couple of years. And so to know that there are tools and there are solutions to our problems, things that we could use to help us gain back our center, reclaim our balance, and just get back into our bodies and allow the parts of us that die to go, and really let that go. Yoga is a powerful tool, and as you rightfully said, is not just about the physical. It's so much more than just the physical. So now you had this realization, and it became so much more to you now. Then you decided to teach. So how was the teaching aspect of it? What was the time frame? How did that unfold? And how was it? Was it nervous for your first class? Like, how did you start? Did you tell just your family and friends first, or did you just go out with it and start the Instagram and just go public one time? Or
I think in fact I embarked on yoga teacher training really for my own personal edification. I just wanted to learn a lot more about yoga and all of the postures and have a deeper understanding. I think when I completed the training, we actually were required to complete some teaching hours. So that's when I started teaching my family and my friends.
Okay, so that's where it was.
Yeah,
it was part of the teacher training.
And then because of course, similar to the thoughts, and I guess we can call it a limiting belief that you had, which I also had, was like, I don't have arms. How is this really going to work? I might need arms.
Genuine concerns to have. Yeah.
So, but I think over time when I started teaching my family and friends and so on, I think I was able to break free from that limiting belief. I think what helped is the effect that I saw and experienced with my family and friends in terms of teaching them just for a short period, within a 3-month period. I started just experiencing just a difference in their energy and in their spirit. And my family, we have a history of anxiety, depression. So being able to share tools with my cousins, my parents, my aunties, and having
people you love.
Yeah, and
then to see it work for them.
Correct, because I think we had a mindset in our family. Well, we would say, well, this is just how we are. It runs in our family. So moments when I feel anxious, when I suffer from anxiety, when I feel like I could observe the connection between my thoughts and my gut, and the response would always be like, well, Daddy experienced the same thing, Auntie experienced the same thing,
Yeah.
your grandfather experienced the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's almost like it's generational, and
Yeah.
it's okay. So we say, well, this is who we are. This is how we operate.
Right. We start to accept character traits. We start to
Yes.
accept personality types. We start to accept even generational illnesses,
Yeah,
genetic
for sure.
illnesses like
Yes.
diabetes and all of that. We start to accept those things. And for me, you being able to not accept, oh, but my family all have anxiety, so I have anxiety.
Yeah.
And I hear people saying that all
Yeah,
the time.
but that was us.
Yeah,
for sure.
or my whole family, we always sick with so and so, we
Yes,
have heart
correct.
problems.
Correct.
Yes, it
Yes.
is, and I'm not saying that we're not human.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we are human, and genetics and all these things have a part to play, our diet, our lifestyles, and everything like that. But in terms of personality traits or characteristics, I am learning to relinquish that narrative from saying, well, yeah, I'm a loud person. I want to be if I want to be a gentle, soft-spoken person, I mean, naturally I'm loud. But does that mean that I have to be loud for the rest of my life?
Yes.
No. Even something like a narrative that I always tell in myself is that I'm bad at math.
Right.
And I am bad at math. But I'm not horrible at math.
Yes.
I'm just impatient when it comes to maths, right? That's what it is. But if I really take my time and go through a formula or a question or whatever, I can figure it out. I mean, it's
Correct.
maths. It's
Yes.
not rocket science. But again, that's another thing that I keep saying to myself and to other people. Oh, I'm bad at math. I accept that. But I don't want that. I want to be able to drop certain personality traits, good, bad, and ugly, not necessarily.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's that association with these things, and we have the power. We have the power, and our mind is very strong. And we can reclaim that power and say, just because my whole family crazy doesn't mean that I have to be crazy. Or just because my whole family have an issue with kidneys doesn't mean that I have to have an issue with kidneys, or just because,
It's
whatever.
about
And
breaking that cycle.
breaking cycle,
Yes,
exactly.
breaking that cycle,
And
and I
yeah.
started seeing like very slow effects and positive effects on my family. And I think what helped as well was just experiencing like this joy within myself, just being able to teach. Like I noticed that I felt just a lightness and a sense of freedom, a sense of joy that I just felt like I absolutely needed to share with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are so pleased to announce that this episode is now available on Digicel's apps, Go Loud and Playgo. Download now.
So, what kind of songs you like to listen to and dance to?
Oh my God! So of everything I said, that you did.
That's what I came back to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Indian music.
You like your Indian music?
Yeah,
Do you like
I
chutney?
soul. Yeah,
Yeah?
I like chutney,
Okay.
but like more of the, not so much a modern type, maybe like
The classics.
Yeah, I like those.
Like,
And I like Indian music. I like that soca,
okay.
reggae.
So when you go
pop.
to your little parties and thing,
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I used to, but I feel like
so you're
my-
more like
Yeah, I'm
dance.
not-
You dance more at home, or
Yeah. I wouldn't really be out like.
okay.
I'm not really like.
Are you very
club type.
guarded with your space, the people that you have around
for
you?
For sure.
Yeah. Why is
sure.
that?
I think because I've worked so hard to build my vibration, build my energy, I tend to be a bit protective of it in terms of I need to protect, because it's so easy for us to absorb the energy of others, especially as an empath, which I am. So it's so easy to exchange energies and to absorb the energies and feel the pain of others, and so I tend to be a bit more guarded in terms of how I interact and how I interact, because I could really sense, I think as I connect more deeply with myself, I'm able to see people on a much deeper level, because I could be sitting next to you right now and I don't really see you. And we sit up next to people all the time, we meet people look at me all the time. People are constantly staring at me, but they don't really see me. Yeah, they don't see me. They see a person without arms who have achieved and who was just in the newspaper. But
They see the labels.
yeah, they just see I mean, of course, this viewing and seeing from their lens. So I think as I deepened my own practice and just create more self-awareness, I'm able to see people on a much deeper level and connect with them a lot more deeper. So I think that's where the exchange, I just very protective and selective in terms of my exchanges, and
Yeah, protective and selective.
yeah. So I can't imagine like my old like when I was younger, like just going to a club and just being amongst so it's like, oh my god, like I could never, I can't imagine like doing that now. Like I could feel like I could enter somebody's home and be like, I sense a lightness, or I sense a tension, or I sense like it's just very easy to pick up on these energies, and so I tend to be a bit protective.
Yeah. I'm also now starting to learn and realize that as you work on yourself and you do the work and you do increase your vibration, it is important to understand that you need to protect your space. You need to protect your energy. You don't have to be as easily accessible or anything. Privacy is like gold. I do want to experience. So my entire life, since I'm 14 years old, I've been in kind of like a public eye in a sense because of social media. As a kid, like I didn't know. I remember when Instagram first came around. I remember when I was creating the Facebook page for the business. I mean, I was a teenager. And so like I just remember all of that, and then live videos came, and then all these marketing things came, and I was a kid, so I was in it and I was just doing it. And then, all of a sudden social media became a part of my life, a part of me. And I didn't even know when and where it happened. Like it wasn't sudden, it was just all so gradual and normal. And now I have this page and there's a pressure as a influencer, even though that term is a term that I have to have a whole episode on or something. But just being a social media person, right? Now there's an expectation to post often, to engage, but I'm at a point where I don't want to.
I share the same.
One, not just because I don't want to, but I also don't have the energy to, because it takes a lot of energy to create content.
It does.
It takes so much out of you to create content, and oh my goodness, it could be draining. So now I'm at this place where I'm like, do I want to live off grid? Do I really want to just come off of it and really see what that feels like? And it's something that I'm seriously like toying with, like thinking about. But I mean, it may be just a hiatus or for a couple of years, or it may be forever. Who knows? Or it may not happen. We'll see. I think one of the things that all of us like have challenges with is learning how to accept whatever cards that we're dealt. So we can't control the cards that the universe deals us, right? All we could do is pick it up and play them. And I think with you, that's one of the things, the grace that I see in you, where you've been dealt some cards that not everybody can understand why you've been dealt those cards, but yet you're here, and there's so much, as part of you, in so many different realms too. It's not just career and family, and it's just so much. There's so much. And I just want to know, what would you tell somebody who right now the universe is dealing them some cards that they don't like? There's some circumstances, some situations, some challenges that are being thrown towards so many people right now that they really cannot control, including me. Right? What would you say to somebody who just not pleased with the cards that they're being dealt?
I think from my personal experience, I think perspective helped a lot in terms of viewing the cards as good or bad. So I would have adopted this approach as a child growing up, where I would question, not having arms. It raised this question of, why me? I mean, everybody around me has arms. Stop looking sad.
Sorry, change it.
I am like, so my perspective, my question would always be, why me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we dealt with cards, we look at the card in a way that, what this is bad, this is something, this is bad, this is not what I would have expected or wanted. And we begin questioning, well, why is this happening to me? Why not anybody else? I think what helped in terms of switching my perspective or my question, not why me or why is this happening to me, or as opposed to not saying why me, but in what way is this card showing me or allowing me to experience growth, to experience healing, to experience evolution, to experience a lift in my vibrational field. So it's really a matter of not viewing what happens to us as good or bad necessarily, but simply as is. So, you're facing a particular situation, a particular circumstance. We get to decide what experience we would have or what experience we wish to have out of that particular person. So I get to decide what experience I would have being born without arms. So I wouldn't be sitting here if I sat at home and say my experience is going to be, well, I was born without arms and I'm just going to mope about that. So you and I could face the exact same situation. We could be faced with the exact same person or circumstance, but we get to choose how we experience this person or this situation or this circumstance. Simply by shifting our perspective. It's really just a matter of your mindset, that's what I think. And I think once I was able to shift my mindset from this is not happening to me, but this could be happening for me. Yeah, because every circumstance, and I think that helped me a lot in terms of realizing that any situation that I'm faced with it's not happening to me. It's meant to happen exactly as it is for my evolution, for my growth, as difficult, as challenging, as dark as it might seem. We have to adapt the ability to really use this and be more accepting and be more opening to using our challenges and our bad cards as we perceive them to be, for our own growth, for our own evolution, because that is what I believe is at least my purpose. I believe my purpose is one of growth and evolution. I think that's why I'm here. So I'm not going to let any situation or any circumstance pass me by where I'm not going to reap the benefits or the lesson that I'm meant to learn from that. So when I was in fact, I'm grateful that I experienced deep suffering and that period of darkness, all those dark cards that was dealt to me. I now in retrospect, I'm like, thank God that happened, because I would still be old Veera, and old Veera is just so unconscious, so stuck in ego consciousness, so identifiable with so identification with my mind, with my thoughts, with my emotions. Like, now old Veera really wasn't,
I love that you're saying old Veera and new Veera, because I literally, I'm saying, well, the old me, when I line with my friends and stuff now, I'm like, well, the old me would have done so and so.
Yeah.
But the new me is like,
Correct,
and it's really, really interesting that you're saying that, because I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's really a matter of the relationship we choose to build with our thoughts, our emotions, ourselves. I think that is what helped me, because even like last year compared to 2019, what I would have experienced and the circumstances and the challenges that I would have faced in 2021 was far greater, far more painful, far more challenging than what I experienced in 2019.
But you handled it better.
Because the person or the spirit that... Exactly.
So that is happening to me.
Yeah.
So that is happening to me, because I'm... Trust me, there are really challenging things happening around me. Right?
Yeah.
But because I've dealt with and grown from adversities in the past, it's almost like it's the same level of challenges and pain and suffering,
Right.
but I'm different.
Correct. Well, that's exactly what I would have experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think because I was able to.
I'm watching me handle
Yeah.
these situations where, again, the old me would have been like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, which was the old
Right.
2019
But new me
who
is
was
like,
suffering. Yeah.
it happening.
Yeah, I
It
think we would
happening.
still continue to experience pain. It's not like
Oh yeah,
on
it
the
doesn't
spiritual-
end.
Yeah.
No,
It's
it
not
doesn't
like,
end.
It's not like it's gonna be
You
all
just
love and light.
change. No,
It's not,
yeah. Pain, suffering, darkness, and like the bad parts, the negative parts will always be
Yeah.
a part of the human
It's really a
experience.
question of what is your relationship
It's
with pain.
your
I think I was able to build a healthier relationship with pain and turmoil and misery to a point where I know it's no longer suffering because there's less resistance and more acceptance, more surrender, because you have just a little bit more trust in what exists within you, that
Yes.
that power that exists within you. And when you resist and when you try to control, you're basically saying to that power, well, I don't really trust you because I want to control, I want to lead, I think it's supposed to be like X. But when we really just release and just allow that power within us to guide and know that we are protected and guided in every moment, that surrender really helps to ease our suffering. And that's, I think, when I realized that, I was like, oh my God, I'm creating the suffering for myself. If you think that X or Y or Z is the one that is causing us this pain and causing,
it's all us. It's all us. And it's hard to see sometimes when you...
Oh, it's so hard because
hard
it's
to
easier
see.
to cast
To blame.
Yeah, and point a finger because you
so
want to look
easy.
out what you... It's difficult to look inside. You don't want to face the darkness.
Yeah.
And it took me immense courage and strength and
a sense of ownership and responsibility.
It requires accountability.
And it's true. Everything that is happening in our experience is completely our doing. That's it.
Yeah, because
we just need to accept that.
Yeah.
But we like to blame and we like to say, well, you do this or you do that. But it's happening for a reason because it's all connected and it's part of the journey. It's part of the evolution. So, yeah. Veera, oh my God, last message, just one message. If you had to leave the audience with one message, short, sweet, concise, but powerful, and from Veera, what would that message be?
Despite the circumstances, the obstacles and challenges that we may be facing externally on the outside, take a moment to look within yourself. I think every answer, every joy, every ounce of love, peace and stillness that we seek, that we all seek as humans, could be found right within yourself. And I think that was the whole purpose of creating my studio, which is called the Yogi Within, because I was able to discover within myself all the answers that I think I was seeking throughout my life. So that's a message that I think I would always want to share with everyone, which is, I think, is a difficult task to, it's no easy. I get that. Easy. I understand, because so...
It's hard to see when you now embark on a journey of looking within. It's hard to see that all that is possible on the inside.
Oh my God.
Because all we've been conditioned to see is the outside.
Yeah.
But when you realize just as infinite the outside is, it's just as infinite on the inside, and then it's all one anyway.
Yeah.
Is when you start to explore the inside. And I was supposed to ask you about that actually. I was supposed to ask you about what was your inspiration behind the name, the Yogi Within.
Yeah, well.
And voila, you just
Yeah,
answered the question. So Veera, this was one of my favorite conversations so far. Thank you very much.
Had a wonderful time.
For coming and sharing. And guys, we will post more information about Veera's studio. So if you do want to check out.
You have to come hear the voice.
And make sure and follow her on Instagram because honestly, I followed you for a while and she posts some deep stuff and very like when I read some of her posts that she shares, I'm like, she understands. She gets it. She's a wise one. So that's it, guys, for this episode of Soul Beauty. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait for the next one. Bye.
We are so pleased to announce that this episode is now available on Digicel's apps, Go Loud and Playgo. Download now.